Hey Matt, it's Zach here. I've made video responses to some of your content in the past. However, you did not accept that as a video response. So I'm making another one, hopefully of the integrity to stand up and approve it, but also even respond to me, the issues I'm bringing up here. I'm always open and willing to engage with discussion with my subscribers and viewers and accept their video responses, because that's the normal thing to do under a non-dogmatic approach to health, is hearing both sides of the story and admit when you're wrong, and also learn new things from people that have other sides of the story that you might not have in your perspective. Hello Kindred Longevity Lifestyle Designers, this is Zach here, secretsoflongevity.com. As you can tell from the intro and the title, this is a response to one of Matt Monarch's more recent videos, and because of that I'm going to make this video as if I'm addressing him personally, and I hope you guys enjoy the content and can learn something from it. So Matt, your latest video, which was titled All Disease is the Same, really struck a chord in me that felt quite compelled to make this response. I feel very strongly that you're misleading people on this topic and would like you to have some sort of conversation with me about this, whether through video format or whatever, because I really feel strongly that you're lacking in the understanding of how a wide variety of diseases and chronic illnesses take place in the body. To try and simplify it for the viewer's sake down to it's all about detoxification, or it's all about excess things going on in the body, toxicity, is a huge blanket statement and extremely inaccurate. Virtually every traditional healing modality on the planet, Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, Native American medicine, Western European medicine, all recognizes that there's multiple causes for different classifications of disease. Yes, there are diseases of excess, which is what you're arguing, but there's also diseases of deficiency, diseases of exposure, diseases of lifestyle and injury. So to try and put it all under this one banner of deficiency is very limited, and is only, in my view, based on whatever teachers you've learned from who do tend to focus on that. And there's nothing wrong with promoting raw food, colonics, and general detoxification. But when that becomes the obsessive core foundational approach to everything, you're going to run into people who that does not work for. So you've talked about a few cases of people who have had benefits from colonics and things like that, but that simply does not make up for the fact that there's people out there who do not get the benefit from those things. So we cannot use individual examples, whether it's ourselves or other people, as proof for anything. It can shift towards forming a theory about something. So you could see, you know, a bunch of people that you worked one-on-one with in a consultation type scenario. Don't know if you do consultations or not, I don't believe you do. But say you recommended someone do some sort of colon hydrotherapy for their specific illnesses, and you found that they got some benefit from it. That can give you the theory that those diseases that they had, or illnesses, or whatever they had going on, were connected to toxicity that was building up in the colon to some degree. However, it's not until you do randomized trials with very large groups of people that are controlled, double-blind, and structured properly that you can actually determine facts. So you very emphatically say, this is truth.
This is truth.
As if you have the final word that just
Smites everyone.
that has anything else to say to the contrary. Well, I find that to be very typical in people who have arguments that are very dogmatic and not based in really good hard evidence. There's this tendency to try and push with the emotional conviction of what you're talking about, as opposed to just simply putting out the facts, being cold and scientific. And it is cold because you're trying to not be swayed either way by your emotions. You're not trying to be too involved into it. Because in science, when you get your emotions involved in that way of trying to push facts and your purported findings, you're going to be missing the key points that could be indicating something to the contrary, or missing a perspective that you haven't looked at yet. So I want to examine a few of the things you've talked about. You're basically summing up that cancer, diabetes, arthritis, even osteoporosis are based on the same idea. Even acne and the flu you threw in there. So there's certainly scenarios where adding in something like colon hydrotherapy could be beneficial. Cancer would be one. Depending on what area of the body, it could be even very crucial to be doing some sort of cleansing regimen for that area of the body. Acne could certainly be benefited from any kind of cleansing and detoxification regimen. But there's also various causes for acne. One can be candida overgrowth, another one could be hormonal. There could be something that's somewhere in between. So the idea of it being a disease of excess is actually quite inaccurate because it is a symptomology of something that's deeper that's going on in people. For some people it's an imbalance of the intake of their macronutrients, so it's not that they're getting too much of anything, it's that they might be taking in too much sugar and not enough fats and proteins that would be more beneficial for their unique constitution, that would balance their blood sugar and prevent the explosive growth of the candida organism. For another person, it could simply be that they're getting just too much of everything and it's just an overwhelming burden on their system, in which case just reducing calories or reducing overall volume of a specific type of food would be all that's needed to address that issue. Furthermore, the placing of a disease like osteoporosis, which is clearly symptomatic of both hormones and lifestyle. I've never heard of any theory that would connect osteoporosis with toxicity. We're talking about a disease of lack of bone structure, where the bones start basically getting so thin and frail on the structural level that eventually someone has a fall and they easily break their arm, hip, or leg. So the cure to osteoporosis is, number one, exercise, and specifically weight-bearing exercise. This is called Wolff's Law. This is the weight-bearing exercise, weightlifting, body weight exercises, any sort of resistance training that's going to stimulate the muscles, which then in turn stimulate the bone to inlay minerals back into the bones and reduce calcium excretion from the body. There's also hormones that come into balance with bone density issues. So a lack of testosterone and excess of basically estradiol and estrone is going to cause osteoporosis. And one could get into the macronutrients and specifically looking at a decrease in protein levels, not an excess. So again, in this way, it could actually be classified as a disease of deficiency. So this has nothing to do with toxicity. This is not getting enough protein, which in turn is not going to boost IGF-1 levels enough, which is what osteoporosis is largely connected with. Lowered IGF-1 levels, lowered testosterone, lowered protein intake is all resoundingly connected with increased rates of osteoporosis. So in this case, I'd highly recommend anyone that's osteoporotic to look at including some raw dairy products, which according to some people is going to be toxifying to the body, but that's just complete bollocks. It is boosting to IGF-1 levels, it is building in the sense of having enough protein, and it has a number of other fat-soluble nutrients which can be very deficient on a so-called detoxifying diet that would be classified as raw veganism, and that's going to be able to rebuild your bones both from the calcium, the A, D, E, vitamin K2, taking something like survival's colostrum is another great way to boost up IGF-1 levels, as well as the other beneficial compounds that are found in dairy products in a concentrated form. And right now, actually, Thrival has a sale that's going on. Any orders over $100 get free shipping, so you can enter this coupon code and get free shipping, and that lasts for the number of days that you can see on the screen here. That gives you the information you need, and that goes for all of the Thrival's products, and you can learn more about that there. At one point there were some other comments about animals in the wild not having to deal with diseases of excess, and that simply is not true. Animals can suffer from a wide variety of problems. Biggest one in the wild is going to be exposure. That's anything from pneumonia, which you somehow classified as a disease of excess, which is clearly a disease of deficiency in combination with exposure. Yes, you might have benefit from a cleansing type of therapy at some point after the disease has occurred, but when you have pneumonia, and I've had pneumonia when I was younger, I got it from walking outside in the middle of winter for kilometers with a t-shirt on during a snowstorm. It was a very foolish thing to do at the time. Believe me, when your body temperature drops and your immune system is run down like that, it's certainly not going to be the excess bread you ate for breakfast that's going to be the cause of you getting sick. Thankfully, I've fully recovered from that. We can also look at people in developing countries where injuries, disease, all sorts of sickness is not the product of excess, but is clearly the product of deficiency. So you've completely glossed over this idea that there are diseases of deficiency, whether it's rickets, blood diseases, and if you just simply think about it, any deficiency of certain nutrients is going to cause problems in the body in terms of the immune system, the functionality of various organ systems, and you're not going to be able to defend outwardly from the incoming forces of stress in their various forms. And by stress I mean pathogens, the environment, like really dry weather, really wet weather, really cold weather, really hot weather. So I'd encourage you, Matt, as well as everyone else watching, to consider these things and really mull them over in your mind and come to the conclusion that there really is no one magic bullet way of preventing everything, and the solution to everything is not to simply cleanse the colon. There's a lot of different approaches to health. Some are one-sided, some are much more multifaceted, some are dogmatic, some are much more open. So you have to decide where you fit into that category and really determine whether your approach is going to be beneficial in the long term, and are there aspects to your mindset that are dogmatic, that are so focused on being one certain way and identifying with a group just for the sake of feeling a part of something. And you have to start to let go and first feel yourself as a sovereign individual and stand up for common sense and logical thinking as well as science. And divorce yourself from that need to attach to something, and then you can be a part of something and contribute to it while remaining unique and not getting caught up into any dogmatic thought patterns that are happening within that group. So with that, check out the links below. Check out that sale by Surthrival if you want some good building products, because a lot of people are in such a state of deficiency these days in certain things. A big one can tend to be the testosterone, anabolic type hormones, IGF-1, human growth hormone, and a lot of Surthrival's products are great for boosting those up, especially if you're coming off of a vegan paradigm or a vegan raw food paradigm or any sort of slightly deficient diet. So that sale's good until the end of January, up until the 31st at midnight, and you can save shipping on orders over $100. So with that, let me know in the comments below what you thought. Matt Monarch, I want to see this as a video response on your video, and perhaps we can get some good discussion going. And with that, take care and embrace life without limits.